the temperature in Oxford around Lane Kiffin and Florida, a loss would really ramp that up.
Before the Snaps game of the week is Oklahoma at Ole Miss in Week 9. Both teams are 6-1. Oklahoma has the best defense in the FBS. Ole Miss's offense is averaging more than 500 yards a game. So who has the advantage in this matchup?
Yeah, immovable force against a force that can't be stopped, it seems like, in this game. Oklahoma's defense has been fantastic. The one game that they weren't great, they still only allowed 16 points against Texas. Texas scored a special teams touchdown. So Oklahoma really, really good. It is going to be a fantastic matchup. And I think Oklahoma's offense is going to have to score some to keep up. I don't think you can hold this Ole Miss offense down, but I really do like this Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, I think I lean with you, Jenny. Ole Miss's offense is great, but yeah, being one of the best units in the country, like OU's defense is, they would have the edge against almost anyone. And I'll tell you, the last quarter that Ole Miss's offense played was not good, right? They were fantastic for 3 quarters against Georgia, but just 13 yards in the fourth quarter. So I'm sure Brent Venables has plenty of that film keyed up and whatever went wrong. So will Ole Miss have 13 yards in the first quarter? I doubt it this time around, but I don't see them scoring 5 straight touchdowns either. Probably somewhere in the middle.
Sam, Trinidad Chambliss had a strong game against Georgia, but he and the O-line did start to lose it a little bit toward the end of the game. How can they improve against Oklahoma?
Yeah, that's it. So it's a great question because even asking Lane Kiffin in Trinidad, like, hey, what exactly went wrong, right? To go from humming touchdown, I'll say it because it sounds crazy. Touchdown, 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 touchdown. Like that sounds crazy to start the game. And then the 13 yards, but it was truly a matter of just hitting throws. And usually Trinidad hits those throws. That's what we've seen in his 5 starts. He has great touch to go along with his dual threat rushing ability, but in the fourth quarter, it wasn't there. So the key to having easier throws is to stay ahead of the chains, and Ole Miss couldn't do that in the fourth quarter. So I don't think the Rebels want many 2nd and 14 type scenarios in Norman.
By the way, those 5 touchdowns that they had in a row to start against Georgia, that's the total of touchdowns that OU's defense has allowed all season. So it's a crazy, crazy matchup.
How's OU done against running quarterbacks, Jenny?
Yeah, obviously that's a bigger challenge. I think that is going to be interesting. But last week against Lenora Sellers, they did fairly well. I mean, held South Carolina to 1 score. So I think that they're equipped to handle that. Their front 7 is fantastic, but it is going to be a great matchup.
When you're looking at the SEC title race, are Ole Miss and Oklahoma both in must-win situations in Week 9?
I'll tell you yes. And I feel like it's a 2-pronged answer here in Oxford, right? Because Ole Miss, on one hand, statistically, if Ole Miss loses this game, they're staring down the barrel of a 2-loss season where their best win is a home win against LSU. And that loss is kind of not like it's terrible, or that win is not aging great. So for a team that was just on the wrong side of the bubble last year, I know that they don't want to have to sweat their resume to the end of the year. So that feels big. And also just the temperature in Oxford around Lane Kiffin and Florida and hypotheticals about other jobs too. It just feels like a loss would really ramp that up. And I'm not even sure how much more it could be ramped up. And a win would probably calm some things down in Oxford, and whether they'll say it or not, probably in the building too, right? It would just, winning makes your coffee taste better and the sun shines. So I think they need some of that right now in the building.
Isn't the sun always shining in Oxford? I mean, come on, it's beautiful there. But I think it does have that must-win feel when you're talking about the SEC. Now, I think there's a chance, because of the parity that we've seen in the SEC, that a 9-3 SEC team could make the playoff this year. I think that is a possibility. But you don't want to set yourself up, like Sam was saying, you don't want to set yourself up to be in a situation where you think you've got a pretty good resume and you're the 13th team in the playoff selection. So I think Oklahoma knows that their remaining schedule, I mean, they have got top 20 teams the rest of the way. So to win games that you're especially, it's close, it's maybe a close matchup, or you're at home. And those cases are both true with this game against Ole Miss. I think this is a game. It's sort of like that South Carolina game last week. Oklahoma was better. They needed to win. They did. That's the same sort of feeling I think Oklahoma has to have about this Ole Miss game.
Jenny, is John Mateer fully back, fully healthy, and fully able to use all the tools in his toolbox?
Well, he wasn't bleeding from his surgically repaired thumb last week, which was a step in the right direction after that Texas game. Lots of blood, not a great thing. But yeah, I mean, thumb is the wrist and thumb are still wrapped, and I think for a while that's going to be the case. But I definitely think he looked more just more at ease last week at South Carolina. You know, he didn't practice at all before the Texas game. He wasn't cleared until Thursday, and at that point, all of your heavy lift is in the barn. So you know, you don't know, you know, just the impact of missing that much practice until you see it play out. And I think we saw that with Mateer against Texas. But yeah, I mean, I think is he 100%? I'm not sure that he's 100% yet. He's still only, let's see, somewhere under a month removed from that surgery. But I think he's probably about where he's going to be.
Oklahoma versus Ole Miss. Who wins and why?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Oklahoma, but I do think it's going to be a close game. I don't know if Oklahoma is going to give up as many touchdowns offensively in this game as they've given up this season, but I do think Ole Miss will score because their offense is so good. I think this is going to be probably, you know, a single-digit win, but I've got Oklahoma winning.
I think I lean OU as well, especially in Norman. OU's going to be wanting revenge because they got beat pretty bad in Oxford last year. And yeah, that's the thing. OU's defense is so good that the Rebels defense is going to need to pull together some stops. And that wasn't very plausible that didn't seem very plausible by what I saw last week. And they've been really hot or cold, but they'll need a very hot performance in Norman.
We've got some rapid fire straight up picks for college football week 9, starting with Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. Trinidad Chambliss is having a solid season with Ole Miss, but I've got to go with that Oklahoma defense winning this one.
Wow, I'm a little surprised we're in agreement on this one. I feel like I might regret this, but like, yeah, that Oklahoma defense could cause some problems. And we know Ole Miss's defense is suspect after last week. So I think even Oklahoma's questionable offense can probably score some points on them.
Missouri against Vanderbilt in Nashville. I'm going with Vanderbilt all the way on this one.
Yeah, Vandy's just a really good team. Like, no qualifiers, very good team. And I think Missouri's solid too, but I'll give Vandy the edge playing at home, sure.
BYU against Iowa State. Iowa State is a very good team, but I am rolling with Bear Bachmeier and BYU until they give me a reason not to.
Yeah, I'm following your advice now on this one. I can't pick against BYU again until they actually lose a game. So, you know, Iowa State kind of questionable offensively. I think BYU gets it done again.
Illinois against Washington. Illinois cannot overlook the Huskies, and I say they won't and win a close one on the road.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't really think Washington has it up front. You know, we saw what happened in the games against Michigan and Ohio State, and, you know, Illinois is not quite that good, but I think they have the physicality to just put this Washington team down, even though I do really like a lot of the pieces they have.
Texas A&M against LSU. Baton Rouge is a really tough place to play at night, but I think Texas A&M is winning this one and will make the Tigers fans even more furious with Brian Kelly.
Yeah, that'd be tough. And this is a winnable one for LSU, but unfortunately, I just think A&M's defensive front is way too dominant against a struggling offensive line and struggling LSU offense overall. Give me Texas A&M to go win this one on the road.